What if I told you the next game after Mortal Kombat 11 wasn't supposed to be Mortal Kombat 1 at all? Like at one point we might have actually gotten Injustice 3 instead, and I'm not talking about rumors with zero evidence, I'm talking about things that actually started adding up over time, because when you look at everything closely, Mortal Kombat 1 starts to feel less like a planned next game and more just like a last minute pivot. So what actually happened? To really understand this, we need to look at something really important. It's the NRS pattern. Because for years, NetherRealm Studios have always been very consistent with their release cycles. It basically went like Mortal Kombat, Injustice, then Mortal Kombat again, and then Injustice again, back and forth. It was clean, predictable, and very easy. For example, you had Mortal Kombat X, and then you had Injustice 2. Then right after, you had Mortal Kombat 11. So naturally, everyone expected the next game after MK11 to be Injustice 3. And I know I made a video on Injustice 3 and how it could have been a reskinned MK1. However, I'm gonna look at it as if it's two separate entities with that theory not in mind. But before we get into today's video, if you guys like this content, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and join the Frosty Flames Legion. We're almost at 1700 subs, so I'd really appreciate it if you guys just dropped the sub and supported the channel, and comment your thoughts down below about this theory or what other content you'd like me to do. Anyways, back to the video. So obviously after Mortal Kombat 11, everyone thought Injustice 3 was gonna come out, so everyone was making Injustice 3 videos, but then they dropped Mortal Kombat 1 and the teaser trailer, and obviously that was a bit confusing for some people. It raised a lot of questions. However, it was hyped a lot because it's Mortal Kombat and NetherRealm always knows how to put out a hype trailer. But that's besides the point, because this wasn't just a small change, it completely broke their system. And when something that consistent suddenly changes, I feel like there's usually a reason behind it. So now at first people thought, okay, maybe they just wanted to do another MK game. But the more you look at it, the less that explanation actually makes sense. Because behind the scenes, things weren't exactly normal. So like, what was going on behind the scenes in NRS? So like around this time, there were reports and discussions about uncertainty involving Warner Bros., which is the company that owns NetherRealm Studios. So this is where things get interesting, because Injustice isn't just NetherRealm's IP. Obviously you guys know it's heavily tied to DC, which means a whole new array of licensing approvals and corporate decisions that play a much bigger role with the game. So if there was any instability or even the possibility of things changing that could affect whether Injustice 3 was safe to develop, meanwhile Mortal Kombat is something NetherRealm has more direct control over. So if you're in a situation where things feel uncertain, what do? You go with the safer option, and that safer option for NetherRealm was Mortal Kombat. Basically, if you don't understand what I'm saying, Warner Bros was in trouble and it was kind of uncertain what was gonna happen with it, so NetherRealm probably just pivoted back to Mortal Kombat 1 instead of risking it with Injustice 3, because we didn't know what was going to happen with Warner Bros. At the time. And obviously going off of Mortal Kombat 11's ending, they needed to reboot the series because that's where it made sense the most, right? However, what if NRS knew about the Warner Bros. Thing going into the next game? Like they knew that they couldn't put out an Injustice 3 because of what's been going on with Warner Bros. So Mortal Kombat 1, I feel like it wasn't just a normal sequel, it was a huge decision by NRS to reboot the timeline. And that's not something you casually do unless you're trying to refresh the franchise, bring in new players, or start over for a reason. And that's when you connect that with everything else. It starts to feel like Mortal Kombat 1 wasn't just next in line. It was like a strategic move, almost like they needed something guaranteed to succeed. So obviously a reboot would reel in more players, because the original Mortal Kombat 9 to Mortal Kombat 11 story wasn't doing so good because players didn't like the direction it was going. It was too special forces focused, and players wanted to go back to the roots. They wanted to see young Johnny and young everybody else. They didn't want to see Cassie Cage and stuff. And no, don't get me wrong, they were cool, but I feel like more players and a majority of the fan base preferred how it was going back to MK9. So I feel like they played it safe by just rebooting it again. So when you put all of this together, you get a pretty interesting theory that Injustice 3 might have been planned at some point, but something in NetherRealm caused a shift in direction, not necessarily cancelled, but maybe pushed aside, and in its place Mortal Kombat 1 was fast-tracked as the safer, more controlled project. Now to be clear, This doesn't mean Injustice 3 is never happening. It just means the timeline might not be what people expected. And you guys on my other video actually pointed out a lot of things, how Mortal Kombat 1 really just feels like an Injustice game. They had the style of gameplay, they had the clashes, which were the intro scenes, and they had a lot of characters that just felt like they just took it from Injustice 3 sort of to fast track it into MK1. For instance, General Shao, he has the hammer, or not the hammer, he has the axe, right? I'm so used to old Shao Kahn, he has the axe, and he has the horns. He looks something like Steppenwolf, right? And then you have characters like Ashra, and she has that sword that kind of turns into like a glowing rope, and it sort of looks like the lasso of truth from Wonder Woman. Then you even had Ermac that kind of felt like Enchantress from Injustice 2. And to top it all off, look at the guest characters. The guest characters look like they could have been planned for a superhero game. Obviously they picked Homelander and Omni-Man. They fit well in Mortal Kombat as well because they are very brutal characters. But don't get me wrong, they could easily fit in Injustice as well with those superhero related abilities, especially characters like Conan as well. The only character that really could fit Mortal Kombat, I guess, would be the T-1000 and maybe Ghostface. But even like Peacemaker and all the other guest characters really fit well in Injustice, and they could be easily interchangeable. And on top of all this, I mean, there's some things on top of things on top of things. They have the cameo system. Now, the cameo system is in Mortal Kombat 1, obviously, but just think about it. It should have been in something like Injustice. Cameos would work really well as sidekicks, because obviously you guys know superheroes have sidekicks, right? You could have like a Batman Robin team up, right? Where you play as Batman, maybe you could call in Robin, he'll do some moves, throw a battering, throw a smoke bomb, whatever he does, and then leave. Maybe it'll be combo extension or something, but it would work really well because it's a superhero and it actually makes sense. It doesn't make sense in Mortal Kombat for you to just call in, you know, whoever, Chameleon or whoever, and then they'll just do a move and then leave and then just watch for the rest of the fight. It really fits in an Injustice game. So if Mortal Kombat 1 and Injustice 3 are separate games, they aren't a reskin of each other, then that means NRS literally just took things from NRS's Injustice 3's development and put them in Mortal Kombat 1 just cause maybe they were trying to fast track a game, maybe they wanted just to put something out. But whatever it is, it really makes it clear, because even if this theory is just partially true, it really explains a lot. It explains why the pattern broke, why Mortal Kombat 1 feels like a reset, why Injustice has been quiet for so long, and honestly, it makes the future more interesting in my opinion, because the question now isn't just are we getting Injustice 3, it's really when and under what circumstances are we gonna get Injustice 3, because it is a popular franchise. Obviously it doesn't make enough money compared to Mortal Kombat, however fans would really love it back, and I know Ed Boon really loves the Injustice series too. So was Injustice 3 supposed to come out before Mortal Kombat 1? We really don't have a confirmed answer, but when you look at the pattern, the timing, and everything that happened behind the scenes, it definitely feels like something has changed, and that change might have completely reshaped NetherRealm's plans. And now the real question is, what happens next? What do you guys think? Do you guys want an Injustice 3 right now after Mortal Kombat 1, or would you rather just them stick to Mortal Kombat than we get a Mortal Kombat 13 or Mortal Kombat 2, whatever they're gonna call it? In my opinion, I really want the Injustice series to come back, so I would prefer an Injustice 3. Anyways, that's just my take on it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment down below your thoughts, and what do you think of this theory? Do you think that Injustice 3 was supposed to come out? Do you think that they are not reskins of each other? Do you think MK1 was a reskin of Injustice 3? Do you think they are the same project? Let me know in the comments down below. Well, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe to join the Frosty Flames Legion. Help us reach our goal of 1,700 subs. We're almost there. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Mr. Frosty Flames out. Ciao.